Hello everybody and welcome back to another Our Life Beginnings and Always playthrough. I miss this when I'm not doing it, but then I do it and it's so difficult for me to read like a normal person that I'm just like, maybe I'll just take a little break because that was a little too humiliating, but then I miss it and god damn it. Anywho, let's go with chapter 3, Long Day. It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished one cup of water, you were already filling it up again. Doesn't happen. I don't drink enough water. I know that's bad, but okay. Everyone else had something on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel pleased, frustrated, nothing really. Frustrated. I mean, no. Me now, frustrated. Me, 8-year-old. Maybe pleased. I'm gonna go with pleased. It is frustrating though, having someone there like, but why? But how? But when? You might not be in double digits like your sister, but he was only 7. Being the oldest and getting to be the leader was a nice change of pace. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet, something like a popsicle. You wanted something fruity and brightly colored. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your moms didn't keep sweets in the house. Mean moms, okay? Mean. Outside, there were plenty of places where such goodies could be obtained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. You sighed. You voiced your predicament aloud. You asked Shiloh for help. I'm gonna ask Shiloh for help. Shiloh, do you have any money? Oh, let me check. That was easy. You felt like you should tell him why you were asking. Thanks, I want a popsicle, but my moms don't keep any here. That's mean though. No? Like using his money and not even offering him like, I want a popsicle. Not like, I want us to get popsicle or anything like that. I want a popsicle. Shiloh rummaged a word in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins, plus one stray button. You set the button aside and counted the coins in neat piles. Just over $1. You announced this to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you word. It's not enough, it's a start. It's a start. I'm pretty sure there are popsicles that are less than $1, right? We could get 2. Well, I don't know. I don't know California. This is California, right? Shiloh beamed at you. Well, we'll need to find some more. Moms just leave the house and they don't leave me with any money. I know I'm 8, but like, you know? Okay. The two of you lifted couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep word in the sofa and under furniture and scoured the back of drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross. Bent paper clips, fluffy wisps of dust or sandy crumbs. Ew. But every so often, one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Dusty and disheveled word From checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pulling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again. $2.53 and 2 buttons. You didn't know when the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer. I mean, I think that's enough. How expensive can a popsicle be, you know? But you appreciated him recognizing your authority on financial and ice cream matters. I mean, most of that money is his, so he's the one that should have the authority. You straighten up before making your word. Didn't read. Yeah, we've got enough. You could now afford something at the shops. Just one thing. There's gotta be something less than $1. But that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Yay! The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar, word. You, onto your destination, where breathless but happy you stared at the overwhelming number of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed the funds to get the treat. Actually, Shiloh is the one that should decide because he's the one that gave the most. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting a popsicle? Shiloh asked, as though he was entirely separate from the decision rather than someone with a stake in the outcome. Do you mind? Shiloh cocked his head to the side. It was your idea. You should choose. It was your money, though. You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. No, that would be... Are you really sure it's okay? You tried to get something you both wanted anyways. Me now would try to get something we both wanted, but me then would have actually denied the money and be like, no, I'm fine, it's okay. So are you really sure it's okay? I think that's yeah, that's what I'm gonna pick. Yeah, really. Please, you bought the dessert you'd longed for. Sweet success. No, that's not fair. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. It was Shiloh's money. You sucked on the fruity popsicle you'd bought. The icy treat cooled you down perfectly, and the zesty flavor was refreshing. You held it out to Shiloh so he could take a turn. He shook his head. I insist. That was enough money for two. You can finish it. He didn't want any. After everything he did to help get it, he paid for it. That was weird. But you accepted the offer. You tried to include Shiloh. You hesitated. I'm gonna hesitate. It's okay, Jamie. You want it more than I do. And I'm really happy that we got to play today already. You finish it. Why, Shiloh? No, complain. That was your money. Well, it wasn't worth arguing further. The frozen treat was being worn away by the sun and starting to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. If you waited much longer, then neither of you would be getting to eat it. Alright, thanks. No, bitch, insist! The two of you began to head back home as you ate. You offered the treat once more to Shiloh, but he refused again. Shiloh, eat the bitch. Eat the fucking popsicle. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. He's so cute. You didn't... why didn't he speak up for himself, right? I mean, I kind of was like him, to be honest. A little bit. Just shy. I mean, I think he wants to please everybody. I didn't want to please everybody at all. But I was just shy to the point where, I would always deny everything and anything and be like, nope, I'm fine, I'm okay. Are you thirsty? And I'll be like dying like SpongeBob in that one episode. I'll be like, I'm perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about. It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt or was too afraid to. You figured that was his problem and didn't care. Are you scared of me? You thought that was kind of sad. Are we friends? It's not scared. I think he doesn't seem scared. He just likes to please people, I think. Because it's not only with me. He also does that with Lizzie and Cove. I mean, he tries way too hard with Cove because Cove is kind of a bitch, but I don't think it's fear. You thought it was kind of sad. It is kind of sad, but I think I'm too young to think that. I don't know. Are we friends? I'm gonna ask if we're friends. Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. Yeah, I think so. He says that, but friends should be able to talk to each other without being scared. If Shiloh wouldn't do that, were you even really friends at all? Aw, Shiloh, come on. He rubbed his hands together nervously over your non-reaction. I'm sorry. You weren't sure how sorry he could be without knowing what he's even apologizing for, but you shook your head. You didn't do anything. It was true. Shiloh hadn't done something mean. He'd gone out of his way to make you happy. That didn't seem like it should be a bad thing, yet it bothered you. I just don't know if you like me. It's like it doesn't matter what I do, you're gonna act the same. I could be anybody and you wouldn't care. No, I like you. I really, really like you, Jamie. I want to be friends. Oh, Shiloh, then why didn't you recognize me? In the future, we meet Shiloh again. Let's not talk about that. Okay. You smiled hesitantly at him and his fidgeting ceased. Even though you weren't sure if you believed him, this was only making things worse. You decided that maybe there were all types of friends. If Shiloh wasn't able to do things differently, this would have to be alright. No, it's not alright, Shiloh. Get a personality. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times and there had been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing, at least. The treat was delicious, and that was nice, and he didn't get a single bite of it. The sun was low on the horizon, and you turned to your neighborhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cove's face. Oh, my baby's crying. You walked straight over, Shiloh at your heels. Once there, you defended Cove, took a moment to make a joke, accused Lizzie of causing trouble, carefully asked about what happened. I'm gonna accuse Lizzie. I don't know. I like Lizzie, but I don't like Lizzie. Young Lizzie is annoying. Should I defend Cove? I'm gonna defend Cove. You didn't know what happened, but that wasn't going to stop you from fixing whatever was wrong. Stop it! Leave him alone! Your declaration wasn't directed just at Lizzie or anyone else specifically. It was for anyone who deserved to hear it. Jamie, are you okay? Do you need help? You can tell me. Jamie, I got yelled at. He took a deep breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. Oh, sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out a condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. Even your mom struggled to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. Me. Oh my god, that's so gonna be me when I'm old, if I get to be old. It didn't matter if they were really nice to Cove. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked word in your direction. I was helping. That's cool. Is there anything I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach them a lesson. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great, 'cause they're so slow, they'll never catch you. That's mean. But I used to do that when I was young. That's dumb. I don't wanna go near them ever again. You're saying that 'cause you're a clock chicken. Cove glared, but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? So I didn't want to do it the first time playing because I like old people. Even if they're mean, I'm like, they've lived too long. I'm not gonna bother them, you know. But supposed to be 8 years old now, not me in the body, like 29-year-old Sora in the body of an 8-year-old. I used to do that, ding dong ditch people, so I'm gonna do it. You thought they deserved worse. Oh my god, I'll do it. Ooh, do they deserve worse or do I just ding dong whatever? Because I kind of want to do something else, but what will they do? I want to do something else, but not something much worse. Maybe like just throwing eggs at their door or something. That could maybe make them sleep and break their necks. I'm gonna go with they deserve worse. You scrunched up your nose in disgust as you shook your head. As sparks go. Sparks. Oh my god. I can't read. As pranks go, it was pretty weak. They would answer the door to find nothing there, so what? It would be sort of annoying, but they seem like the kind of people that would be irritated by about anything, yes. If they were going to open the door, there should be something bad there, like poop or something. That would be letting them go off easy. You felt 3 pairs of eyes staring at you, but you were studying your surroundings thoughtfully. There wasn't much around that they might dislike. Inspiration came crawling towards you in the form of a roly-poly bug. What is that? Carefully, you lowered your hands. No, don't hurt the bug, Sora! You lowered your hand and let it clamber onto your palm. That should do it. You had never met an adult who appreciated bugs. They're gonna kill the poor bug! An 8-year-old me would have never touched a bug. Sora, come on. I mean Jamie. Ugh. Let's ding dong ditch and bug them. Yeah. I thought I was just gonna leave poop on the floor or egg them. Poor bug is gonna die. We'll go hide. Run as soon as you hit the bell. Good luck. Lizzie and Shiloh ran across the road to take shelter in the bushes. Even once they'd settled down, you could make out 2 child-sized shapes staring from between the leaves. You knew where to look for them though, and so you told yourself that the grouchy old people wouldn't spot it. Cove sighed, his gaze flicking to the house and then back at you. Be careful. I will. He gave the door and you one last look before joining Lizzie and Shiloh in their hideaway. The weight of three pairs of eyes on your back was heavier than anything you'd carried before as you approached the door. You stared down at the little bug still wriggling in your closed hand. I would never, at this age, even less back then. And carefully placed it on the ground where it could be seen, but off enough to the side so it wouldn't be stepped on. You wrung it, you didn't ring it. Poor bug! What else? I mean, I already said I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. You slapped the buzzard and ran. Blood thumped against your eardrums with every step. Would you make it in time? Approaching the hiding spot, you knew that there wasn't time to go around the bushes, as the others had done. You took a shortcut, leaping over them. Or to be more accurate, crashing into the tops of the bushes, and then falling over to the other side. Cove quietly hissed at you, unwittingly collided into him, but by the way his arms were out, it seemed he had intentionally tried to cushion your landing. Shh. Lizzie put a finger to her lips and nodded at the house. You disentangled your limbs from Cove's and spun around to see the old man framed in the doorway, peering back and forth suspiciously. You covered your mouth with your hands, but it wasn't enough to stifle your giggles. Maybe he spotted one of you, or maybe it was the leaves you displaced while jumping, but he locked eyes with the bush and stormed over in your direction. Shiloh gasped and looked at Lizzie. Run! Your sister did not hesitate to take her own advice. Neither did Shiloh. You got up, but seeing Cove struggling to extract himself and stand up with just one fully functional arm, you gave him a hand before taking off after the others. Okay, run. As you made your escape, you thought to yourself that he didn't even notice the bug. Of course he didn't even notice the bug, and if he would have just killed it. Jamie, what the fuck? The old man's hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctity of the hill. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and the ache in your legs. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of cool grass against your skin. Hey, Cove. Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough, and rolled his whole body away from your sister. He doesn't like anyone, does he? He's mean. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. And it was fine, you thought. You still felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today, and it was always annoying. Sad. You had been hoping the two of you might have become closer, but you had to let it go. He was happy where he was. There were other things to attend to anyway. You wriggled closer to Cove. He had calmed down for the most part and was inspecting a flower. His fingers pinched the stem and tilted the white petals towards him. That's a poppy. Cove glanced at you in acknowledgement then back to the flower. And the type of poppies on this hill have the name white linen poppy, Mom told me. He quirked a smile. That's funny. He ran a finger around the edge of the petals. It doesn't feel like cloth. Cloth? Oh, because of linen? Is linen cloth? I don't. You'd need a lot of them to make anything. He nodded and released the delicate plant. Evaluation complete. This is my favorite kind of flower, but I didn't know what it was called. Thanks. It's mine too. I like roses. Buttercups are really great. My favorite is snapdragons. Hibiscus are the best. Peonies are pretty. I love sunflowers. I pick tulips. Orchids are the most special. Type your own answer. I like all flowers. I don't care about flowers. I only know what my mom tells me. I like orchids better. My uncle, I don't know how they're called in English. Botanista, bleh. He likes plants. He have a bunch of plants, and he's always creating new orchids. I don't know, when you like mix two together or three, or I don't know. He's earned like prizes and everything for his orchids alone. He has a great hand for flowers in general, but orchids are his specialty ever since I can remember. And I think that's why I love orchids so much, because I grew up with them. Because where he has his plants now, where he's living at right now, used to be my home back in when I was a kid. So I used to spend a lot of time with the orchids up there. So orchids. Those flowers are super fancy and come in all sorts of colors and stuff. Some even pretend to be like bugs. Orchids? I've never seen an orchid that pretended to be like a bug. Have I? I don't know, my uncle's orchids are fucking beautiful. And he made them, like, I don't know what he does, what that's called, like, I don't know, but the colors he ends up creating with the flowers and everything. Beautiful. They do they? Yep, they trick real bugs by looking like one. Whoa, you know everything. Not everything, but thanks. Oh, look at him, come on. He's so cute! You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled under on cold, rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. You saw a dolphin, you saw a car, you saw an alpaca, you saw a smiley face, you saw cloud shapes. I picked dolphins the first time because, again, I thought it meant something because of the balloons. So I'm gonna pick a smiley face now. You saw a smiling face looking back down at you. You nudged Cove and pointed to it. Look, it's a smiley face. Cove joined you in looking up at the sky. The clouds twisted, turning one of the dots, making an eye into a line. It's winking at us. He chuckled at the silly face. All the sun's light faded from the sky and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strands of grass from her bare legs, and surveyed her surroundings. The ocean, visible from the crest of the hill, beckoned with every sweep of the tide. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to what? There was no argument from the other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove would never say no to going to the shore. He was a child of the sea. You were were too tired, you were happy to do what the others wanted to go there too. I love the beach. So you eagerly joined the others in descending the hill down to the water. You stepped onto the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastles and footsteps in the sand, too big to belong to any of you. There were only indications of how busy it had been only hours earlier. The four of you kicked shoes off and removed socks and walked along the water's edge. The waves tickled your feet. I wonder what would happen if you tried to take a bath in the ocean with shampoo and everything. That would be bad for the fish, would it? People even like pee on the beach, so shampoo? I didn't say anyone would do it, geez. You don't have to be serious about everything. You're the one who asked what would happen. That is what would happen. It hurt the fishes. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious. You never heard Lizzie use that word before. Mommy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up anyway? Not for a while. She's busy. Excuse me. What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? Nobody does. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why would somebody want to talk about something they never talk about? True. You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed by the waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when this topic came up, it made you feel awkward just for having both of your moms. It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and Jamie. I don't have a dad. But I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. Oh, sorry. I only have one now too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just my dad with me. Oh, I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Cove nodded. It's a sad topic for Shiloh, in my opinion, and he still apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry your mom's not here. To Cove, I made it all about him. Shiloh, complain, cry, be upset, anything. You're allowed. You joked about Shiloh's mom getting together with Cove's dad. Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own ways. You didn't say anything. Uh-oh. ¿Aló? 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 Mierda, ya va, dame un chance. Ya voy. Pero ya va, les abro. Coño la madre, my friends are downstairs. So I'm not gonna say anything. I can't. I mean, I have two moms. I don't know the feeling of having divorced parents or never meeting one of them. I do. In real life. I mean, I know my dad. My parents divorced before I was born. Anyways, you couldn't come up with something you thought would make the conversation any less awkward, so you kept quiet. It was safer that way. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and sodden sand splatter against your legs. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. Cove joined in, striking the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. You made a run for it. You retaliated. What's retaliated? Jesus Christ, my friends are downstairs and I'm just here playing. I mean, they didn't tell me. I told them to let me know before they arrived. Retaliated. What's retaliated? Tomar represalias. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I retaliated. You used your foot to smack the water pulling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered. Some of the salty seawater having landed in her mouth, she spat it out. Yuck! Lizzie chased you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh or Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Everything was fair game in war. Ah! Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, caused by him falling face first onto the ground. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain. As you all hurried over to check on him, his hair was plastered to his head and his soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over. Way to go, Shiloh, you dumbo. You offered him some help. Let him get up by himself. I'm gonna offer him help. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. Shiloh, you bitch! After a moment, you dropped it. You bitch! Lizzie was too busy snicketing to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh too. He reached over and took it. Bitch! Slowly he started to pull himself from the ground. Then he slipped on the slick sand, dragging him and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them. Poof! Sorry. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low. But there's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was an accident, especially not to Lizzie. Maybe he's got a personality now, we don't know. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped a streak of sand from her cheeks. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up again as well, this time without an incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cove laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung side to side as a cool breeze flowed past. Your moms were outside chatting to Cove's dad. We're back! Your moms' faces fell as they took in the state you all were in, raging from messy to soaked. Elizabeth, is that all you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. That's Marigold going to do. What's Marigold going to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home, cold and filthy? Lisa's expression turned sulky over to scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, bucko. I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cast arm to push his dad off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. That might be right, kids. What can you do? Come on, Cove. Let's go. Get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast to have to be reset. We don't want that. I'm sorry, Mr. Holden. Cove winced at the thought. Okay. That a boy? Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove up from the ground. Ultimately holding Cove against his chest, sand was already transferring from Cove onto him, but that didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. Mr. Holden is the best dad ever. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble. Good night, Cove. Thank you for the talk, Liv. Night, White family, and Shiloh too. Resigned to his fate, Cove twisted his body in his dad's arms in order to turn around and wave goodbye. Smiling, you returned a tiny wave of your own. Well, we'd better do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everybody inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet in the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old beach towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall until you were less sandy. You weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house, but you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Shiloh should wash first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's car. Mrs. Fields had come to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without that hat for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go into the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed clean up session. At least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to go right to bed. After a day like this, though, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. And that's my long day. Now I'm gonna go because my friends are downstairs. So thank you for accompanying me in this chapter. I'm sorry, my English got a little worse there because I am kind of worried that my friends are downstairs. So I'll see you in my next video.